That's not pinball. This is pinball Scrapheap style.
Welcome to Scrapheap Challenge, where two returning teams are chomping at the rusty bit to create crazy contraptions out of our stack of scrap.
This week's challenge is to create a fast-moving, omnidirectional, giant pinball and then put it through its paces on our icy course.
The teams must build a circular machine with only 3 points of contact on the ice. This will act as the ball in our very own Arctic arcade game, notching up points for precision prangs. Driving on ice has always been a tricky business. Braking and over-accelerating can easily send you out of control and into a spin. Throw into the mix a healthy dose of 50s popular pastime pinball, and our teams face an ice-capade of glacial proportions.
Hoping to hit the jackpot this week? Shiver me timbers, it's the return of the Lumbering Jacks. These three tree fellas from Wales are led by Captain Baden, with scavengers Andrew and David. In round one, it was less lumber and more thunder when they kicked butt in kung fu cars, chopping their way to victory.
Chomping at their heels are the powerlifters, 3 forklift truck drivers from Kent, with a penchant for motorbike drag racing. Their captain is Neil, with Dave and Mark on the scavenge. Even the cold waters of Margate Lido didn't dampen their spirits, as they powered their way to victory in round one with their underwater car.
Yes!
Okay, teams, your icy challenge has been set and you've got absolutely no time to chill out. You better get your skates on because you've got just 10 hours to become pinball wizards.
Go on the sound of the gong. Go!
Oh, what do you reckon to that then? It's a bit of a task, I think.
It'll have to be light, innit? Carry all 4 of us. 60 stone, like.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Reckon 3 wheels?
Yeah, maximum 3 wheels.
The wheels are no good, are they? Not on ice.
To help our teams glide to victory, we've brought in 2 mammoths of the engineering industry.
Hoping to break the ice with the Lumbering Jacks is development engineer Duncan Hyde from Staines near London. Once a motorbike racing champion, he now builds racing hovercraft.
Hi boys, Duncan.
Andrew,
So, what do you think?
Interesting.
what's your ideas then?
My ideas, right, here we go. We want a big donut. If we can put a floor in it, and we can get some air through in the void, that will lubricate it. We aren't probably looking at lifting it.
This is going to be in contact all the time.
Yeah,
then,
so we've only got 1 point of contact.
That'd be classed as
So
1
we've got
point.
2 spare, so we could have a rudder and anchor we could chuck out the back.
Yeah.
So to build their giant rubber ring-mounted hovercraft, the Lumbering Jacks will use a motorised pump to force air under the rubber ring, creating extra lift and reducing friction as they glide across the ice. A second motor will drive a fan that will rotate 360 degrees, propelling the craft in every direction. However, with 4 guys weighing the same as a small elephant, they'll need a tough inner tube. If it bursts, they'll be left out in the cold.
For brakes, we could also turn that engine off, couldn't we?
No, you turn it 180 degrees and it's an air brake.
This round business, yeah?
It's going to have at least 180 steering, isn't it?
And then just 2 other wheels at the rear.
Just like caster wheels, really.
Yeah,
They
so
just
go
go
back on itself,
360
we just
pivot, and they
screw it right round. It's getting this drive unit thing we need.
The powerlifters are coolly assisted by Norfolk's Colin Spooner, aka Gramps. Former top dog design director with Lotus Cars, he now runs his own automotive innovations company.
Hi, so how are we going?
Well, we're not quite 100% sure yet.
It looks remarkably similar to my thoughts, I have to say.
Oh, excellent.
The proactive powerlifters already have the basics of their design.
Pretty well as you.
An expert Gramps just has to fine-tune it.
Yeah. And I was thinking if we could take the rear end of a scooter, just the powertrain bit of it, and mount it in some way.
Yeah. Tip it up on its end.
The powerlifters want to make an ice trike using a scooter engine and wheel, which they'll tip up vertically and surround with a circular frame. Rather like a dodgem car, they'll be able to turn very sharply by twisting the drive wheel a full 180 degrees. However, an ordinary rubber bike tyre would just slip on ice, so they'll have to come up with a solution to give them the grip they need. If not, our homespun heroes could spin out of control.
Right, we need to go out and get some bits in, don't we?
We need big inner tube.
Yeah.
The bigger, the better.
Some kind of drive unit.
Yep.
An air blower.
Yeah.
Something we can use for casters.
We want an engine and a fan.
And a bag of luck.
Yeah, I think there was some out there, isn't there?
Get out there then. Go and find it, come on.
Will our teams propel themselves in all directions, or will they end up going round in circles? Our ice-cool adventurers have only 10 hours to scavenge and build giant omnidirectional pinballs, capable of bouncing around our huge Arctic arena, scoring points as they go.
Got a big hole in him, but we can mend that.
Our laid-back tree fellas, the lumbering jacks, are looking for a huge rubber inner tube that will become the base of their icebound hovercraft.
You any good at mending punches, Baden? Got a tractor-sized inner tube with about 4 holes in him.
Got 360s on this.
Where you look?
While our gas-guzzling powerlifters are on the lookout for a scooter or motorbike engine to drive their metal ice puck on wheels.
Team Captain Neil is a fierce competitor and is quick to pile on the pressure.
Dave Hogg, are you looking around now?
Yeah, we're looking around, Neil, but it's pretty well hidden, this stuff.
So while Neil waits impatiently, the lumbering jacks have made their first find.
This is ideal, isn't it? Look at that.
Might just fit you in it.
Hello, guys. What on earth have you got there?
A tube.
It's got to carry 65 stone, that has.
Now, that, I'm not being funny, but is that really going to be able to carry 65 stone?
It's going to. By the time we put a lot of air in that, it's going to get very big.
What have you got there?
That's going to be a fan.
That is mega heavy, Dave. We ain't
Yeah,
carrying
you've got
that
65 stone already. You don't think there's going to be much heavier on that?
Yeah, well, Andrew likes to be big and heavy.
You've got to think big.
Big, strong and heavy.
So Andrew and David may not look like they are firing on all cylinders, but they are still coming up with the goods. By the barrow load.
Either one of you hear me?
Neil, we're looking, mate. We haven't seen anything yet. Bear with us.
While Neil's mood turns frosty, Baden gives a warm welcome to his scavengers. Whatever they bring.
Has he got a fetish for wheelbarrows?
Yeah, I think he has. We've just decided you've got a fetish for wheelbarrows.
That's a proper motor, isn't it?
24 volt, look. No, it's 48 volt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going. We're cooking. Have you found a fan yet?
No.
We need to find a fan.
I know, we're looking. Come on, Dave.
And playing catch-up, the powers are on the verge of a big discovery.
I found an old Honda CB250, I think, 4-stroke.
It's a 250cc motorbike.
But it's not what we really want, a 2-stroke, is it?
Thinking about it, we could use a
4-stroke, mate, if we tip the engine back and use the sprocket to run vertically.
Hang on a minute, they're not trying to knock out the competition, are they?
Morning, dudes. Oh, look at that. That is just what you need.
Yeah.
Is that just what you need?
It's not the one we really wanted, but...
Is it not?
No, we wanted a 2-stroke, but this is a 4-stroke.
And why is that? Is that because it's bigger, or...?
We really could do with a 2-stroke, because you can angle the engine really any way you want.
Oh, so because if you need to tip, are you going to tip the engine up?
If we choose to, yeah.
Right.
Because the oil's in the sump and it's on a 2-stroke, the oil's in the fuel.
So you get no oil starvation to the crank.
Which can affect an engine's performance.
Exactly,
if it's got no oil.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
Rather dramatically, yeah.
The powerlifters plan to use the rear wheel of their bike to drive their ice trike. But if they don't keep the engine upright, the oil will drain out of the sump and the engine will seize up. So they'll have to remount their drive wheel under the engine, keeping the sump level. But this is dangerous territory, because if they don't brace it properly, the wheel could spin out, tearing the machine apart.
I'll move this out of the way for you. Yeah, because that could be in the way.
That's the only bit that was in the way.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've done it. Thank you very much for the help.
I'll let you get on with it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Dave,
Neil, we'll be there in about 5 minutes, mate.
Neil is full of frustration, but the scavengers won't be rushed.
Take it steady over them bumps, take it.
To keep themselves busy, Neil and Gramps lay out the dimensions of their giant ice puck. And Neil finally has something solid to get his teeth into.
Really buried, mate.
It's basically kind of dodgems on ice, isn't it? Which is how Neil described the powerlifters.
Because what's actually the thing that is frightening about this is if they work. You know, if they don't work, it'll be funny and noisy and it'll be quite silly. But if they actually work and they move fast across the ice, then it gets slightly worrying. I mean, you know, because there's nothing to stop you, especially if you're on a rubber donut with a fan.
No brakes.
Yeah, even if you're quite heavy, but it does actually work and it's sliding around. Where do you just hit whatever you hit?
Body armour perhaps might be de rigueur.
Yeah.
Very Spring/Summer 05 on the scrap heap.
After the success of finding their main drive wheel, powerlifters Dave and Mark are on the lookout for caster wheels for their frame.
Meanwhile, scavengers Andrew and David know that in this big old fridge is a cooling fan, and their scavenger senses are telling them it's behind this sheet of metal.
Yeah, then, Dave.
Right, I've tried to hit one out. It looks like it's going to be a lot of hard work.
Oh, crikey.
Only 30 screws stand between them and success, and they are determined not to lose their cool.
Mind your knee.
I'm going to. Oh, yeah, there's the motor.
And what's on the inside?
Yeah.
Another sheet of metal.
We got ourselves a sheet of ply.
Lumbering Jack Captain Baden blows up their giant inner tube to see if it measures up to expectations.
Morning, Baden.
How you doing?
Very good. This is marvellous.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good in the tube.
Do you think it's big enough?
So this is to carry 4 people around an ice rink.
We've only got little bums, haven't we?
Exactly. You're all very, very narrow fellas.
That's right.
So what size is that, Duncan?
Well, we would really like about that much. But we've sort of got...
You've got that much?
We've only got that. So we're only about that much short.
This week's judge is Graham Drury, inventor of indoor motorbike ice speedway. Graham also works as a magistrate, and fittingly his nickname is The Judge.
Now, Graham, of all the surfaces we've worked on Scrapheap, ice has proved to be the one that we know the least about.
They've got 2 problems, as I see it. One, forward momentum, which is very difficult on ice because too much power is certainly what you don't want.
Right.
The second problem is movability on the ice, which is very, very difficult. Having looked at the designs and studied both of them, I don't think either of them is going to work at this early stage.
That's very encouraging. I'm glad the teams can't hear us from here.
Come on, stop mucking about.
From what I can judge, I mean, the lumbering jacks are making what is effectively a hovercraft. Not quite. It's a sort of semi-hovercraft, isn't it? But it's a big floaty rubber tyre.
It is. Now, the problem I see with that is the forward momentum, I don't think is going to be a problem because it's going to be a nice, soft power.
So they can actually move along, but they can only move along...
Exactly, but then when they have to move about to hit targets, that's when the problems are going to come.
They may experience random movement.
The machine will go where the machine wants to go. Yes.
Okay, and the powerlifters then, so they're relying on actual traction on the ice. They've got a wheel.
Yes. I'd have been set the challenge. I would have tried to get as much surface area of the machine on the ice as possible.
Oh, right.
In fact, they've gone the opposite direction and virtually got no area surface on the ice.
So at the moment, then, if you had to put your money on one...
If I had to put my money on at the minute,
jacks.
I wouldn't put a lot of money on that, mind you.
5p is enough.
Well, I don't know whether I'd go that much, actually. But they have got a little bit more possibilities than the other two.
Right. Oh, dear. Poor powerlifters.
Back on the heap, chilling inside a big fridge, Andrew and David make a puzzling discovery.
Wait a minute.
What's that? That's something like, isn't it? You put that on there.
I've never seen such a thing.
There's light. Look, that ain't gonna have much.
Yeah, but what does it do?
It's hobbing in a fan, look. And you've got to go out.
The fan hub they found is ideal. All they need now are the blades.
You stand on all fours and I'll stand on your back.
I have been...
Teams, you have 7 hours construction time remaining. 7 hours remaining, teams. Thank you.
We really want to be starting something here, fellas.
Yeah,
We've had
well-
absolutely jack so far. We just looked at this motorbike.
Drag racing motorbike enthusiasts, these boys know everything there is to know about bikes.
All we've got to do is make something from here straight to that, and we.
No, I see what you're saying, Mark.
Whilst car designer Gramps is having trouble getting a word in edgeways,
Yeah,
But
providing
we're limited,
we
to
can
the
get
output shaft.
the output shaft on the gear.
Team Captain Neil, on the other hand, doesn't have a problem being heard.
So what we've got frame-wise? What stuff we've got out here? Is this all we got?
Well,
So we've got these 3 bits of angle. Because at the moment we've been, what, an hour? We ain't done nothing, have we?
don't keep relying on us. You've got to pick your own stuff.
I can't come out here.
Get in here, then.
Lumbering Jack Andrew is all action as he's found the blades for their fans.
Yo! There's only 3 at the moment. Them are
3
the
might
ones,
be
and then-
enough. Are they all the same?
However, he's not impressed with the lack of progress in the build bay.
Are you doing anything there? Have you done the floor?
I swept up over there.
With a sudden boost of energy, the powerlifters get to work, positioning their drive wheel beneath the engine. And even Duncan and Baden are hitting it off, fabricating a stand for their fan.
Let's get a
I think we put the chain on it.
bit more.
Nah, that bottom of that wheel's got to go away from you.
Yeah, that's sort of up and down that way.
Whilst the teams are busy building, I've been researching really interesting pinball facts that I just know Lisa will love.
This is amazing, Lisa, the stuff on here. I mean, the first pinball machine to use flippers, you know, like those things, was the Humpty Dumpty in 1947. Because pinball originally evolved from the French game Bagatelle. Actually, the pinball machine's playfield is inclined 6 to 7 degrees towards the player. 6 to 7 degrees. I didn't know that.
The pressure is really on in the powerlifters build area, and things are getting a little tense.
Yeah, but just
Someone get that set on there.
Whilst the
Mark,
bike boys from
well,
Kent have
mate.
set a furious pace, car designer Gramps is getting left on the sidelines.
It's always difficult, of course. I mean, obviously it would be so much easier if I was working with people that I was familiar with. But they are a very close team. They work very well together. But I mean, I think I'll probably be able to contribute a little bit more later on.
There's nothing like making a space shuttle here. 3 of us know each other so well. We worked together for so many years that we know what each other's thinking, basically. So we tend not to talk and just get on with it. I think he's doing what we could expect of him. I don't think we could expect any more out of him. You know, that's our expert. That's what we've got to put up with. Yeah.
If getting left out isn't hard enough, now Gramps' team are speaking in their own unique language.
Let's just snot a bit on there.
Can we just snot that swing arm to that bit of steel there?
To snot it, for the more curious amongst you, is Kent biker speak for weld it.
You got it?
By remounting the wheel beneath the engine, the tight trio have managed to give their bike a very special look.
We stick it back over on its wheels and we can see what we do, but silly working upside down all the time, isn't it?
Oh, that's a crazy crosser. Man, that's crazy. Great Street Fighter, isn't it?
Just some great stoppies on it, wasn't it?
Oh, I think I'll just get on it and go for a spin.
Modern pinball machines have 3,500 separate parts and half a mile of wire. Scavengers Andrew and David have dug up a leaf blower. They know what it is, but they're not sure what they want it for.
I've never seen one this big before.
Ah, guys, have you found something?
Yeah.
What's that?
Leaf mower.
Wow, nice.
This is going to propel us across the floor.
This is what's going to move you along.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, lift us,
Oh, lift
yes.
you up. This is what's
Lift
gonna-
and also to help as well, isn't it? Push.
I don't think so. I think it's just a lift. Contradiction of ideas here.
Look at that. Nice, nice.
In this week's Scrap Lab, we are looking at how air can be used to reduce friction. To demonstrate this, we have designed our own air-powered pinball machine. Using a leaf blower, we can pump air into a wheelbarrow covered in a sheet of metal with hundreds of small holes. The escaping air is trapped under the puck, creating a cushion of air, lifting it a millimetre off the plate, thus avoiding any friction between the puck and the metal sheet.
Friction is the resistant force that's generated when you move two surfaces across each other. The lumbering jacks will be reducing friction by pumping air beneath their rubber ring, giving them a lubricated cushion of air to ride around on. But for the design to work, the leaf blower must be powerful enough to lift 4 burly bodgers.
Chuffed to bits with their new leaf blower,
Let's choke, Andrew.
Duncan had to laugh with the boys by making some noise.
Big cloud of dust in their direction and a big cheer. Go on.
Ready to go.
As if to answer, the powerlifters fire up their engine. But it's not sounding too good. They need to find out what's wrong and quick.
Must be something on that carb.
And things are pretty bad with the lumbering jacks too. Their inner tube is too small, and that big motor would need far too many heavy batteries to power it. So once more, it's back to the scavenge for David and Andrew. Are the powerlifters skating on thin ice?
Or will the lumbering jacks melt under the pressure? Yes, Rob, thank you. Our glacial gladiators have under 6 hours of build time left.
Ow.
Lumbering Jack Andrew has found a starter motor from an old truck. It's light, small, and should be perfect for their fan.
Powering through their build, the powerlifters are using the drive wheel from a motorbike to make a metal ice puck on wheels. And their old street racer looks more like a mutant unicycle.
Everyone's happy with that height, yeah?
Gramps hasn't built much yet, but his top-notch automotive experience is starting to pay off.
Yeah, if we do a single brace from here down to a cross tube here, and then brace it back from into the corners, that would be great. That would have nailed it.
Right, now we're really cooking.
Expert Duncan is worried that the new motor will be too powerful for the lumbering jack's fan.
Hey, don't put promises like that.
They bench test it and the reading is 5,000 RPM. Turning at that speed, the fan would shake itself to bits. So they'll need to gear it down using a gearbox. And Andrew knows just the place.
We've got a 2-to-1 gearbox. It's 90-degree drive, but we're going to have to strengthen that pole up the middle of the machine. It's never going to hold the weight.
Bring it in, let's have a look at it.
Baden's finally found a new inner tube, and it looks like it might measure up to size.
Lay it down, let's have a look at it laying down. Yeah, right, let's put the top on it.
So with only 5.5 hours to go, the lumbering jacks have their motor, fan, tube and gearbox. Perhaps now would be a good time to actually build something?
Or are you going to use scaffolding, are we?
Building is not a problem for the powerlifters as they transform 4 scaffold poles into a precision-engineered chassis for their icicle tricycle.
How are we going to mount it on now?
Well, you're going to have to cut
it at an angle.
Angle, can't you?
Oh, Rembrandt, can you guess what it is yet?
Tape measure.
Oh, lordy, lordy, look at this. Oh, that is very, very clever, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself at the moment.
So you're going to keep that tyre on? You're going to use the actual tyre?
But we're not 100%
right,
sure.
so you haven't
yet,
quite got that?
Not that bit.
Because it's quite slippery ice.
Yeah.
Stuff.
We're going to carry a bag of salt around with us and just chuck it in front.
So yeah, I mean that's. But I mean, I think my worry is how it actually steers.
I think the idea would be to have like a tube with like a handle that operates a rod that goes down.
Right. Yeah.
So we would push on the rod.
So that will kick that end in, which will
push
throw
it down,
the
lifts the wheel up.
back round.
And
Yeah.
of course, the point of contact then becomes fixed.
Yeah.
We can then screw around on that.
Steering and braking on ice is a slippery business, but the powerlifters think they have the solution. A spike brake driven into the ice on one side will make the other side spin round, allowing the trike to turn on a sharp axis and be omnidirectional.
A bit more tinkering and the bike boys have got that engine sounding much better than before. With expert Duncan leading the way, the lumbering jacks finally get to see how their drive fan fits together.
We have got to drive that with that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to put a plate on there, central. We've got to bolt that on there, which gives us our rotation.
Right, so who wants to do what?
Put the radio on. Shaft, 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 shaft.
Baden, hurry up.
With their fan turning so fast, precision engineering is critical.
Yeah, but you've got to get them right.
Because the smallest vibration could tear their fan apart.
Well, Duncan, I don't think that's bad at all, is it?
Is that going the right way?
You're about a mil out.
That's brilliant. Well done, Ben.
No, I've been a bit cruel about the lumbering jacks because, you know, they have been working very hard and searching for things. They've got really difficult things to find. But they have found a fan and they've found an inner tube that isn't big enough and they've got a big stick mounted on a tyre so it's all wobbly.
Yeah. I must say, I've been very impressed with the engineering side of it.
Motor?
From the outset, the problem that they've got is anything that revs very highly, and this machine is going to rev very highly, everything must be central. So what they've done is the way that they're rotating things, they're making markers to check that everything is going on centrifugally correctly.
Right. Too much. I don't think that's all that central. That.
They haven't got a lot to show for their efforts at the moment. Once the fan is sorted, their machine is up and running.
Gee whiz. Go on, go full back, boys.
That's enough. There's only 3 bits of weld on it.
I tell you what, that ain't bad, is it?
You're quite surprised, aren't you?
Should we go and take an extra insurance policy?
The powerlifters have done fairly well, actually, haven't they? They've got something that looks plausible.
Yeah, looking at it, as you rightly say, a lot of work's gone into it. You can see effort. Their effort is bearing fruit, but they're still concentrating on getting power to the ice.
Yeah.
But they've only this second started applying the thought of getting traction on the ice.
Gramps thinks he's come up with a solution. He's making a homemade version of an ice speedway motorbike tyre. And Team Captain Neil is well impressed.
Yeah, looking good. Looking really good. Excellent stuff.
They're putting these long bolts in, but how on earth are they going to get that tyre on the tyre that's already there?
So they're putting bolts on another tyre they're going to put over the one that's already on it?
One would assume so.
I mean, they're a pretty bright team. I think they will work it out once it goes... That's not going to happen.
Right, OK.
The lifters need to put their studded tyre over the existing one, but they've got one major problem. Both are the same size.
Batter it in with hammer.
Teams, you have 3 hours remaining. 3 hours remaining, teams. Thank you.
I don't know what we're going to do. What we can do is put Jubilees around it.
A tiring 30 minutes of huffing and puffing results in... Yes, you guessed it. They cut the tyre in half and secure it with Jubilee clips. Not exactly a quick fit. It's getting dark on the heap and the lights are coming on. There's only 2 hours to go and the team still have loads to do.
He wants to be spaced up.
The lumbering jacks fan will be spinning millimetres from their heads.
Well, let's go and try it around fan first.
So to avoid any unplanned nose jobs, they've built a guard for extra safety. But it's not exactly a factory fit.
That is a bit big.
I know, but we're not that accurate, man.
If you could make it tighter, it would be a big advantage.
Why?
Because if you can get this gap down to like a millimetre, the efficiency of the fan
Yeah, but look what we
increases.
got to
But I know
work
we're not-
with.
Yeah, I know.
We haven't got a former.
That'll do.
Right. Come on, donkey.
It's been a tricky build so far, but now it's starting to come together. They attach their complex and heavy drive unit to their flimsy fan stand and base.
Donkey, I'm not putting my arms around you.
Big fat tack, and let's see if it rotates. Right, does that all rotate?
Looks like a giant daisy, doesn't it?
With the fan able to rotate a full 360 degrees and the fan guard in place, they can see their design come to life.
Anybody think that was made for that?
However, the lumbering jacks still haven't worked out the sticky problem of how to attach that rubber tube to the wooden fan base.
Right, let's clean an area then.
Flying up until now, the powerlifters have decided to put a brake on things.
We want it to go across rather
Mark
than...
and Gramps are working on their special braking and turning system,
Why? I don't know.
whilst Neil and Dave make sure their super studded wheel is aligned.
Cool.
As the floor goes in, you can see how their brakes will work. They drive a spike down and lift the wheel off the floor, keeping within the only 3 points of contact on ice rule.
Don't know, we've got to...
The time has come for the lumbering jacks to attach their tube to their base, and Duncan thinks he has the solution. He's sure that contact adhesive will be perfect to glue the rubber to the wood.
Ideal for bonding rigid leather rubber.
But Team Captain Baden has his doubts.
We've got to get two dissimilar materials to stick together and carry 4 guys and carry the motors. That is the most worrying thing. That is just that it's going to work.
Duncan, however, is sticking to his guns.
That's covered in...
Our machine will work. It's just a question of whether it's brilliant or excellent.
Teams, you have 1 hour remaining.
Ooh, have some of that. Pretty good.
Let's be having you.
Can you hold it there, yeah?
Yeah.
Engineering!
This is a first, you know. This is definitely a Scrapheap first. We've never had a glued together machine before, and I think I really like Scrapheap first. I think it's good. Can I hold that? Oh, it's sharp.
Oh, it's nice.
Ow!
You can take it?
I've got to. Oh. Ah.
What was that?
That was the tyre.
The Evo sticks affected the tyre.
Can't believe it.
Can we put some wheels on this?
Look at it. It's gone. It's definitely gone.
The apocalypse has come. With only 30 minutes until the end of the build, Duncan's decision to use contact adhesive is a catastrophe. The glue has corroded the seam on their inner tube, splitting it open and making it totally unusable.
Obviously don't make their condoms out of the same stuff they used.
They are at a loss and not sure what to do. They need some quick thinking and fast. Duncan comes up with a plan.
We're going to put 3 bits. 1, 2, 3. Caster, caster, caster. Bolts through here, through the floor of that.
Right.
That's our 10 foot in diameter. That's what we're allowed. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's simple. It's quick. We can do it.
The new design is a metal frame on wheels, but they better get a move on because there is only minutes of build time left.
Lifting it down, lifting it off, is it?
And for expert Duncan, it's all deeply embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
You know, Elise, it's just as well that the lumbering jacks have got a sense of humour. They're really nice guys. They've been under pressure all day. They've done an amazing job against intolerable odds. Now, the glue industry in the last 20 years has been through revolutionary developments.
You want to glue it, they've got glue to glue it.
They've got glue to glue it.
Yeah.
So they pick the one glue that has the most disastrous effect on rubber under pressure. So they slap the glue on and the inner tube goes like a 400-year-old pig bladder. It just bursts to bits.
I have to hurry up, Dave. We've only got minutes.
Tell me where to weld them. Tell me where to weld
I
them.
don't know. I haven't got a clue.
Well,
So they're not doing it. There's no inner tube now.
No
It's
inner
not
tube at
Hovercraft.
all?
No. They've now gone, because they can only have the 3 points of contact, they've gone for 3 casters. And they're making it's really what it's going to be like is like if you imagine yourself standing, because it's a very unstable structure they built, standing on an office chair, you know, like a swivelly office chair with the wheels on it, holding a very powerful fan above your head and pointing it in different directions and hope that you'll skim across the office in a kind of controlled way.
On ice.
On ice, yes.
Which is no way hard and slightly sore to fall on.
No, I can't quite imagine how it's going to be, but I think it'll be funny.
All
on, just spin the back round then.
I mean, next door, the powerlifters, brilliant team, well organised. They're going very nearly finished. And they are, as far as engineering goes, they're a really good team.
That's the best sort of adaptation of a motorbike into something that isn't a motorbike I've ever seen. They've done that really well, haven't they?
Yeah, it should work.
Yeah,
But whether it'll go fast enough to beat a team who designed their machine in the last 5 seconds of the build,
Never know.
it's Scrapheap.
It is.
The last-minute machine's bound to win.
As the final countdown begins, the lumbering jacks are in a flurry of frenzied activity, welding, bashing and bodging their emergency frame into shape.
That's all. I think that's about it.
In the powerlifters camp, there is an air of serenity. Finished early, they have a bit of a clean, have a nice cup of tea, and admire each other's handiwork.
If you looked at it from over here, it looks proper mental then, like that.
Points. So cut some flat straight across.
Where's the fourth person going to stand?
On each corner.
It's got to be, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
Pull it on.
Let's pull the lever. Here she goes. OK, teams, your time is up!
Rock and roll.
Oh yes, teams! Tomorrow you will leave the relative warmth of the scrap heap for the icy wilderness of the pinball arena. Well done, teams. Good build. Hey!
Would have been nicer to stick a couple of taps on here, or like a little shower unit. Would have been nice.
It's been a gigantic build day of glacial proportions. Our teams have innovated, created, and sometimes deviated. But in the end, they've made 2 crazy giant pinballs ready for battle on the polar arena. Will it be the Lumbering Jack's blizzard blower that breezes to victory? Or the powerlifter's icicle tricycle that gives them the acceleration for celebration?
Each team must drive their pinball down the ball runway before they can score any points. Once they've successfully negotiated that, they're free to ping their way around the arena, scoring points for every target they hit and every bumper they bounce off. The team that scores the most points will be this week's Pinball Wizard.
It's the morning of the test and it's a tense tinker time. After their giant inner tube exploded, the lumbering jacks had a frantic end to their build and they still have lots to do. Whilst the powerlifters finished their build early, their overconfidence might have backfired. That engine is sounding rough again. It's a bit of a worry with only minutes to go.
It's time for our teams to get their skates on and start racking up the points on our giant polar pinball machine.
What do you think of it? You know, it is quite a tight course, really, isn't
That's exactly the feeling I'm getting when I first saw it. Very close together.
They've got to be able to turn fairly tightly.
Very tightly.
All for one, and one for all.
Now, the Lumbering Jacks machine has changed rather dramatically, really, in the last few minutes of the build.
And they've worked tremendously hard to get something to this stage, but it won't work.
You don't think it'll work?
No.
Absolutely no chance. That's so tragic.
Lumbering Jacks, it's the moment of truth. Do you have confidence in your machine? Because you had a very last-minute design change.
Oh, yeah. We adapted and overcome that one in a very short space.
Well, look, enjoy it, because it looks like it should be great fun. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ready to go. Here we go. Wait a minute, get comfortable.
Blow on the sound of the horn! I don't want to jump to any conclusions. There's not a lot of movement yet. In fact, there is none.
There's not even that much.
They do look a bit like little ants in their pants, but there's not much movement apart from that.
But a little bit of a shove, is that going to help?
Right.
I think they have... Wow. They have got a problem on their hands, really. I mean, it hasn't quite got enough power to even push its way through the curtain.
No.
With one last push, the Lumbering Jacks managed to score their first points. But then more bad luck.
What happened here then?
No idea. Now that terminal is red hot.
Is it?
Lumbering Jacks, what's happened?
We got a bit of a terminal problem, just as in battery terminal. It wasn't quite a good contact. I think it just drawn drawn the power down.
Lisa to Rob, do you read me over?
I read you loud and clear, Lisa. How are they? That must have been so sad for them.
Well, yes, they think it was a problem with the battery.
Oh, so is it possible they have actually got more power then?
They seem to think the fan could go faster potentially, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be able to sort it out.
Because of their breakdown, the lumbering jacks are given one more go and some extra tinker time. But can the powerlifters do any better?
Captain Neil.
Yep.
I mean, realistically, do you know what's going to happen when you get out on the ice and start spinning around? You haven't got a clue, have you?
No, we don't know how it's going to handle or anything.
You are in the lap of the scrap heap gods, and I hope they're smiling on you. Go for it. See you later.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Powerlifters, get a grip on the sound of the horn. A great start. Their ice trike is moving nicely.
And they're off!
Oh no, the powerlifters are in trouble. Looks like those engine gremlins are back.
Oh, I think something fell off then.
It's not running properly, that engine. You can hear a misfire.
This could be disastrous. They better do something fast.
Take your glove off, Neil. Pull that foam out.
Wow, they've got full power back. It seems a piece of foam was blocking the air intake, but Dave's quick thinking has paid off. They're motoring now. Look how well that front wheel is gripping the ice. Wasting no time, they head straight for the big points. With power and maneuverability, the lifters have already mastered their technique. That's a great back-end slide into the target and away!
They're enjoying themselves now. What a tremendous team effort. Everybody's trying. Oh, they're going for the big one.
And just enough time to smash up one more target. Wow, that's a phenomenal 330,000 points.
Well done. Well done, mate.
And the driver, what an immaculate drive, well done.
That's not fair. You're having all the fun. Well done, powerlifters. That looked like such a laugh.
Yeah, it's good going.
I don't think there's a single piece of scenery not completely destroyed by the powerlifters dodge them.
Try and give it a bit of a nudge.
We started to do it and we did it.
Well, I mean, after that run, the lumbering jacks have just got to go completely hell for leather.
Well, I think what the lumberjacks have got to do now, they've got to come out. They've got to reduce their staff by at least 2.
Yeah.
They've got to go for the high scorer, bang the points up, and hope that will be enough.
Near.
OK, lumbering jacks, take 2. Have you made any modifications to your machine?
Yeah, we put some skids on the bottom of the wheels. We found there was a lot of friction.
Those look like ladles.
They are, yeah.
Of course, the bottom of a metal ladle's lovely and smooth, isn't it?
Yep.
A little birdie told me you might only put 2 of you on, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only bad side of that is that you only get half the amount of points for each one you hit, because you're 2 less men. But if it means you get round and hit them twice as many times...
That's right.
Yeah.
Then you're sorted.
OK, lumbering jacks, give it a bit more puff this time. Go on the sound of the horn. The lumbering jacks are back with a vengeance. They have extra batteries for more power, and they've souped up their craft with ladles from the local canteen.
I feel a lot of wind coming off it now.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got more power there now.
they're moving now. I think
That's
once
it.
they get going,
Yeah.
they are getting going now. It's just very slow. Where are they going?
And it's uncontrollable.
And completely uncontrollable.
But apart from that,
It's fantastic.
To lighten the load, Andrew gets off and in desperation starts to push.
just not enough power in the fan.
I've got a feeling the fan is already slowing a little.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You
Using
can tell
so
by the
much
sound,
power.
can you?
Yeah. That's Torville and Dean, isn't it?
That's it then. Oh well.
Looks like that's it.
It worked ever so hard.
Yeah.
But all to no avail, I'm afraid. All to no avail.
Lumbering Jacks, you gave it your best shot.
Yeah.
If you'd had your giant donut,
Would have made a big difference.
would have made a big difference.
Yeah.
Do you think that was the one crucial factor that really...
Absolutely.
definitely.
An hour from the end.
I don't think I've ever seen soup ladles used in quite such an unconventional way. Commiserations, but well done.
With only 7,500 points, the poor old Lumbering Jack's feeble fan was totally blown away by the awesome Powerlifters ice trike. It was a fantastic run, smashing their way through our course, notching up 330,000 points. They truly are Lords of the Rink.
This week's winners, who are going to return, I can tell. The Powerlifters, well done, guys.
Well done, hey!
And if that sent you in a spin, well, join us again next week for more insanity. When the Big Dippers and the Skids don their kilts for a Highland fling in caper tossing.
Yeah! Oh!